Test, test, test. All right. Hello, Ramley and other NFL fans. What am I talking about? It's mostly Ram fans, but if anyone tunes in from other teams like Grandize RC in the chat, welcome in, and we're gonna have a great stream here. And I am so excited to be joined by three legendary Rams content creators here. First up, Ramsaholic. Welcome. So glad you're here, man. How are you today?
Doing great, Payo. Thanks for bringing us all together to talk Rams. I really appreciate it.
Any day, anytime. Love it. Love it. Then second up, we got Rams House in the house. And Rams House, I know you've been kind of inactive a little bit. Is this you like officially starting to make content again?
Potentially, getting the feet wet again. This could be it. You could be starting a return. You never know.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we got to bring you out of your Rams cave and and back on the internet.
Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Of course. And one of my favorite new Rams content creators that I just found a couple weeks ago, First and Tuna podcast, but on here we're calling you Big Tuna. Big Tuna, your channel's awesome. Everyone go subscribe to it. But how are you today?
Doing great. I'm excited. I get to finally know where I'm buying tickets and when to go to Rams games.
Right? Is that the case? Well, okay, we'll start off here. And anyone who's watching, thanks so much for tuning in. Feel free to ask us questions, give us your hot takes and reactions. We want to engage you in the chat. And just so if anyone's wondering, we reached out to lots of other Rams content creators. Some just couldn't make it work or anything, but there's lots of great Rams content creators out there, especially on YouTube. Make sure to go find them, subscribe to them, give them some love. And that being said, guys, I don't think it's a secret. The Rams schedule has been leaked. And I found it amazing that there are these people on the internet that they track like concert venues and stuff at the stadiums to find the schedule. But the first one that I saw that was like a full schedule that declared it like this is official was Ozzy on Twitter. And again, we're using the language of we think this is official, but we won't actually know until it drops in just over 30 minutes. So bringing this up here, if this is the schedule, okay, like first reactions, let's start with you, Big Tuna. First react, what sticks out to you on this schedule?
I mean, week one, banger, Sunday Night Football. If that's confirmed, it's at Detroit, right? Oh yeah. So rematch from the wild card matchup last year. Man, I'm excited. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Rams House, what about you?
This is actually my first time seeing like the full thing, so kind of getting my first reactions to it. First thing I'm kind of happy about is like that. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but how Detroit isn't like a Thanksgiving game, because I prefer that to be more of like a laid back kind of day. So I'm kind of happy if that's the case that it would be the opening game, and why not like put it in prime time. I'm also happy that we'd be playing the 49ers like a little bit more spread out this time, because wasn't last year like week 4 and week 8 or something early? It was like I felt like we played them early and really close.
Yeah.
Week 2 last year.
I think
we played week
2 and week 8 last year, I think. Yeah.
So at least it's because I remember we played with Carson Wentz later in the season at the end. But overall pretty happy if this is the case. Mainly about that Thanksgiving game not actually happening, but we'll see obviously what ends up happening.
Cool. Ramsaholic, what do you think? Like, I know you've seen this leak, but initial first thoughts.
So obviously, as everyone mentioned, playing Detroit, I really can't wait for that. Detroit thinks they own us now from that one game, so I think we got to get one back on them quick. I can't wait to feud with those fans for the next coming months now. And then on a personal level, like the Patriots game, because I am from Massachusetts, so I always look at the schedule, what's the closest game to me? And week 11, that's going to be like in the middle of November. So I'm happy because I thought I was going to get stuck with a December game in New England, and I would prefer some nice warmer weather. So I'm happy about that. And then, of course, the 49ers. I always look forward to those matchups. I feel this year
Mhm.
we actually match up very good
I agree.
with them. And then primetime games, we have 5, right? Well, the
Yeah.
Eagles one doesn't show.
I think that Eagles one is also Sunday Night Football.
So that means that the media is starting to buy back into the Rams if they're giving us 5 primetime games. Not too big on 2 Thursday games, but at least we'll have some extended breaks versus the following opponents.
Definitely, yeah. And McVay has always done good on those kind of Thursday games and the Thursday games on the short week, and then also kind of the follow up having the mini buy in there. Totally. Let's go to the chat a little bit, guys. Thanks so much for tuning on in. I see lots of cool people. We got Silly Fun Guy in here. We got Jack42. I Like Dogs in here. Joachim, Steve-O, Autocon, Willie. Oh, it's good to see all you guys in here. It's been a while since I've been live, so I love calling everybody out. ASM is here. We're always playing. Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about that, and then we'll get back to the chat here. So last year, Rams started on the road in Seattle. Big win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons I love that McVay and the Rams, they get to get this Detroit game, over with first game of the year. And I'm a big fan of, you know what? There's a bad taste in our mouth. We should have won that playoff game. There's a couple other plays that go differently. The Rams win that. And, who knows what happens. I think they would have beat Tampa like they always do in the playoffs. But, well, who knows? Who knows? So that being said, I would love to go into Detroit and let's just put a beat down on the line. Let's go into Lions Den. Let's tame them. Right? But let's talk a little bit more about that. Big Tuna, that first game in Detroit, what are you thinking in terms of do you think it's going to be like a playoff game environment? Because it was pretty hostile there. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Detroit their fan base is just wild in general. Yeah. For every game that I did watch when they have home games, it's just, it's loud, it's packed. Now there's going to be a lot of buildup. That's the only thing I'm not looking forward to. We're going to hear 500 different takes between now and September about, Matthew Stafford's coming back. Are they going to boo him? Are they going to do a in memory of, or he didn't die, but hey, remember when he was great here? Little honor video. So we're going to hear that 500 times, but it's going to be crazy. They're going to be booing him every time he comes on the field. Probably not as loud as the playoff game, but no, I think that's a great way to start the season off. I'm excited for that. Get it out the way.
Yeah. And Ramsaholic, what are you thinking? I you said a few things, but are you thinking the Rams can go into Detroit and start off 1-0 on the road again?
Yeah, for sure. I think what Detroit did improve on this year was their secondary. Getting Arnold is obviously a big addition for them, but he's still not going to stop Puka Nacua. Hopefully Cooper Kupp stays healthy through OTAs, training camp, and he's fully healthy week 1, which he wasn't all of the second half of last year. And now we have a beefed up offensive line. And Detroit, that was their big thing last year, was stopping the run. I don't think they're going to be able to stop Kyren and Blake together. So I see the Rams winning.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much, obviously, yet, but I think it's kind of a game where we had circled, and now that it's week 1, they're going to be ready to rock.
Definitely. And Rams house, do you see the Rams having any kind of, I don't know, week 1 jitters, or every year there's always that week 1 game that's just sort of a weird, awkward game. Could you see that being the prime time game with the Rams and Lions?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past to have those rust kind of signs there, especially because the Rams are always a team that don't play starters in the preseason. So naturally you already kind of have that rust built up, but I don't think it's going to be that dramatic to where we're going to lose the game because of it. Personally, I don't see that happening, but will you see a missed throw to Puka or a missed throw to Kupp or something like that? I could see that happening just because it's the first game, But I'm honestly pretty confident that we can go in there and beat them, especially because like we can both pass and run the ball really well now, and like our line upgraded even more. So like I don't know. I think it would take a lot for us to kind of screw it up bad. But what about you?
Yeah, with the addition of Jonah Jackson and like this line, it's beefier. This Rams O-line is one of the beefiest O-lines we've seen in a long time. And like in high school, I mainly played wide receiver and pass rusher, but every now and then they'd stick me on the O-line just because I was one of the bigger guys. And like when you have an O-line that can just maul the D-line ahead of them, you can win a lot with that. Like I was on a pretty bad high school team that we won a lot of games just because we were bigger on the O-line, right? So, and I know the NFL is way better than my Canadian high school football team, but I'll take it. A question here from Grandizer. Grandizer, we love you, man. One of our resident Dolphins fan. He's excited. The Rams and Dolphins play on Monday Night Football. Now, we Ramsaholic, you mentioned Rams get 5 primetime games. Love that. Respect deserved. Thoughts on playing a high octane offense like the Dolphins? We also have the Jalen Ramsey storyline in this. What are your thoughts on the Dolphins and Rams primetime game?
I think this is probably one of our tougher games this year. Yeah. Miami is very fast. They just got Jalen Wright out of Tennessee at running back, who was the fastest running back in the draft. So you add that with A-Chain and Mostert, and Tua has Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. They got Jonnu Smith now. That's a very tough game for our defense. Our secondary is definitely going to be tested at that point. Obviously, we bring some good matchups against Miami. Running the ball will be a big thing versus them. They lost a lot of key guys on the defensive line. They do have Ramsey, but overall, I think their defense took a hit. It's really the offense with Miami that you're going to have to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely. Big Tuna, thoughts on Monday Night Football against the Dolphins or just any of the primetime games in general?
I'm getting ready to be annoyed by the Dolphins. You got to think about it. What's Ramsey going to do? Ramsey's just going to talk the whole time. He's going to try to get in everybody's head. OBJ is going to be doing the same thing. Like they for sure are going to have a play for OBJ if he's healthy at that point for like a deep shot down the field to try to score a touchdown and make some noise against their secondary. Just because of the familiarity, just because of how close they actually are with McVay. Like I know there's a lot of love there. But I know on Sundays or on game day, they don't really care. They want to kill you. So we're very familiar with how Jalen Ramsey is, his attitude. He's gonna be annoying the entire game. I already know.
Trash talk is huge part of his game. Yeah.
The big thing, and I messaged you about it, Peo, but I am so happy. I was sick and tired of every year having the team have to go to Green Bay in the winter. Because right there, for some reason, the Rams just never played well in Lambeau in bad weather. So the fact that they are allegedly supposed to have to come to Green Bay, to LA this year, I'm super happy about it.
Definitely. I got a super chat in here by Steven. Dude, thank you so much, Steven Evans, $5 super chat. I hate the 49ers.
I like this guy. I hate them too.
Nice.
Yeah,
I was gonna say going back to that thing you said about the Packers always playing them like later in the year in the cold. I'm like, if this schedule is like the actual thing, the leak that we see, I'm still a little salty because it's like we play in LA now, but then it's an earlier game. It's like, why couldn't you have done that when it was like when we played in the colder place? Like what?
So true.
Well, and like I don't like to talk about the Brett Rippon experience last year, but that was one of the worst.
Oh my gosh!
Performances of the Rams we've seen in a long time. Yeah. But yeah, we played Green Bay a lot, and thankfully they're coming to SoFi this year, and I'm hoping the Rams can take them and beat them pretty good. Lots of great discussion in the chat. Appreciate y'all. My next question to the group here is, and I'll bring the schedule back up here, but what is the game you're most nervous for and excited for coming into this year? So let me just bring this back up. And Ramsahawk, go to you. So looking at this schedule, game you're most nervous for, but maybe also really excited for.
Wow, that's a good question, Peo. I really wouldn't say I'm nervous versus any of these teams, and excited. I would say I'm excited for the Lions, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for the Bears because Caleb Williams, I think, is going to be a phenomenal quarterback and is going to take over that division sooner than later. We talked about the Dolphins. That's obviously going to be fun. A good test for our defense there. Eagles, I definitely want payback on them.
Yeah.
I think last year we really weren't playing well at the time when we faced them, and then they ended up – it was like a switcheroo. Then they fell off in the second half of the season when we picked it up. And then the Bills, I want payback on them as well. I went to opening night after our Super Bowl, and they whooped us bad, and I was there with my family, and fans were trying to take over our stadium, saying this is Bill's house. And
think of the children. How could they do this?
Oh, but my son was letting them hear it back, so it was all good. He's like, this is our house. But they're obviously not as strong now as they were. Von Miller, his ACL injury. So there's definitely some games on here that I'm looking forward to. And then the Jets, that's another good one. So we have a lot of Super Bowl contenders that we're facing this year.
Yeah, definitely. And anyone who's seen my latest video knows that I am still salty about the Rams-Jets game from 2020 when the Rams lost to the winless Adam Gase-led Jets. So, yes, I would love the Rams to go into New York and destroy them. So I think you could definitely put that on the games that one of the games I'm excited for, just as a salty Rams fan. But Big Tuna, what about yourself? Any games you're kind of nervous for when you look at the schedule, or one that you're like, yeah, I can't wait for that game?
That week 6 scares me, man. I don't want a rookie to go do something dumb.
Bye week.
Scariest week of them all.
It's always Niners, biggest rival. They're a Super Bowl favorite by betting odds already. So those are big games. I'm always nervous about that. Not nervous, but excited because most of my family up here in Northern California is all Niners fans.
Yeah.
And then the Raiders, just because I don't want a game to slip, especially to that team. Like I won't hear the end of it. My channel like caters to the West Coast fans, not just Rams. So I don't want to hear it from my watchers. I don't want to hear it.
You don't want all the Raiders. Yeah. Yeah, and you bring up a good point. This is my first time thinking about this, but that Week 14 game, you're playing the Bills. It's no walk in the park, and then you got the Niners on a short week. Not an easy 2-game stretch right there. Yeah, definitely something to consider. But Rams House, looking at the schedule, game you're maybe cautiously nervous of or totally stoked for.
Yeah, so I was looking through that, and I was kind of like Ramsaholic, where I was like, I'm not like super nervous for any of them. And then I'm looking in the chat, and I see people talking about like the Jets field, and I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot about that. That like has gotten so many injuries, like Achilles, broken legs. So that's the one I would be the most nervous for, the most anxious for, because like, especially with like a bunch of veterans, you don't want something like terrible going on there. In terms of excited, I'd probably say the Dolphins and the 49ers, because 49ers, we all hate here, like the guy did in the super chat. He was right. We don't like him. And I really feel like last year was kind of the point where we were starting to turn around and be able to face them better. Even like in that, was it week 2 that we played them last year? We played them pretty early. And I felt like even in that game, we were really close and we just matched up a lot better. And then you talk about in the offseason, we've improved. And I think the front is one of the biggest things with us improving that, where I feel like that's going to kind of turn the tide here. So I'm excited for the 49ers, and then Dolphins I'm excited for as well, because Jalen Ramsey, one of my favorite Rams of all time, matching up against us again. And I think it's just going to be a fun matchup overall, like offense and defense wise. So that's kind of the games I'm excited for.
Yeah, and I'm I appreciate all your thoughts, and appreciate we got 107 awesome people in here. Thanks so much for tuning on in. Feel free to subscribe to all these great Rams content creators. Links in the description below. I'll add in my 2 cents here. So I am nervous, but like excited for the week 1, week 2 road stints. I like playing like at home. I like it when you kind of have it spread out. But to start the year off, a 2-week road trip, and you're flying to Detroit, East Coast, then you're gonna go to the Cardinals. And I'm not saying I'm scared to play the Cardinals. It's more the Cardinals do look like they'll be an improved team. They'll have Kyler Murray, and we don't have Aaron Donald for the first time since playing Kyler Murray. And, let's face it, Kyler Murray always was running scared of AD. So, it'll be interesting to see that dynamic to it. But then you have that 2-week road trip, and then you play the Niners, which arguably are, our toughest opponent that we play twice. So not an easy walk in the park 3 weeks by any stretch. But hopefully the Rams can definitely get some W's in there. But for games I'm excited about, anyone who watches my channel knows I'm an East Coast Rams fan. So like Ramsaholic, I am looking at going to that Patriots game, maybe the Jets game. We'll see. I'm one of those people that, like, when the schedule comes out, I look at it and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have no money because I want to go to all the games. But then I'm like, okay, wait, I have to be realistic, and like I am not that well off. But I definitely hope to go to at least 1, maybe 2 games next year for sure. And again, everyone watching, this is the leaked schedule. We are 8 minutes away from accessing the confirmed schedule here, but we'd love to hear your reactions in the chat. While we're waiting for that here, we got another great question coming in from Grandizer. Is what 2024 Rams draft pick was your most favorite, and which one was maybe your least favorite? And while you guys are thinking about this, I'll give you time and stall with my answer here. I love the Rams draft. I think they did a lot of good things, and I'm gonna say my most favorite was their first round pick for a lot of reasons. Jared Verse. I know that's not a hot take or anything. Just he was an edge rusher. I was someone where I really wanted the Rams to go corner originally before free agency, but then when they addressed that, bringing in Darius Williams and Tre'Davious White, I love what they did with that veteran secondary. And I was like, edge is that greatest need. When you can get an elite talent like Jared Verse, you do it, and the Rams did it. And so I love that pick. And for least favorite pick, it's hard to say, right? With so many of these draft picks, are they even going to get to see the field? We're not sure. I'll maybe say maybe Blake Corum. Not that I'm not excited for the talent, just did we need to draft him? I don't know. But then at the same time, he prevents a really great opportunity. I love what I've seen from his tape, but that's kind of my convoluted answer to that question here. But Rams House, do you have any thoughts on this question?
Yeah, I wanted to go that like kind of generic route and be like Jared Verse for sure, because I obviously like his play style, but I also think like his character looks really good. Like I obviously have only gotten to know him since he was drafted, but like all the content on him, videos, interviews and stuff, it looks like he's got the buy-in both like mentally, physically, obviously, and just like the football wise. So I like him. But to go more underrated, I like Josh Carty a lot, our kicker that we got.
Yes.
It's an underrated position, but like we really needed help last year, like Haversick and all these different rotations of kickers. You never felt like you were very confident in the group. So if you can find a kicker maybe for the next 5 to 10 years, I'm thrilled with that. No more Sam Sloman.
We don't have to have a defibrillator every time we go to kick an extra point.
Exactly. Yeah. And then least favorite, I don't know. I don't really know if I had one, honestly. Just looking back at it, like I don't know if there's one that really stands out to me because like all of them look pretty good to me, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Big Tuna, thoughts on the draft?
I got to share that sentiment with Cardi. I think it's a Cardi party all year long.
Yes.
I watched some of his, I guess, kicker highlights, if there's kicker highlights. Dude was automatic, man. Like, it's really nice to have a young kicker come in. You're going to have him for the full, 3, 4, 5 years, however long they're going to want to have him if he's successful. But then my favorite one, Cam Kinchins. Just because he's a freak athlete, played very well in Miami. And as much as I love Fuller, I've loved, JJ in the past, it seemed like they needed an extra oomph in dynamic playmaker, like somebody who's going to be like a Cam Curl. Cam Curl is just always around the ball. He's a hard hitter. He's going to make those breaks on trying to get interceptions, like take those risks. It seemed like, I don't know if it was Raheem Morris, his defense, or just their play style, that the safeties that we had. It's just nice to see some aggressiveness on the back end.
Definitely. Absolutely. Yeah. And Ramsaholic.
Yeah, so my favorite pick has to be Braden Fisk. With him and Verse, we're going to get two guys that are very familiar with each other. They love to work out. They love to study film. People are complaining about the trade up. I love it. He was going to go. Defensive tackles were starting to go at that point with Atlanta trading up to get one. And we're getting probably the most athletic defensive tackle in the draft, which we love. Reminds me of a quicker Gaines, and Gaines was huge for us. So I love that pick. Honestly, I just love this draft in general. I am a very biased Rams fan, but this was probably our best draft on paper. Last year was phenomenal. I think this one can top it because we really got some animals on the defensive side. We got our kicker. I don't think we have any bad picks. Brennan Jackson was someone when we first drafted him. I'm like, do we need another edge? And when you watch his film, I mean, the guy is just a powerhouse. So it's clear as day what the Rams wanted to do this offseason. They wanted to get strong. They wanted to get big on the interior, on both D-line and O-line. Whittington is someone that I'm excited for with us getting rid of Ben Skoranek now. He definitely has snaps coming his way. Let's see what he does with it. I know Jake Ellenbogen was huge on that pick. And, we seen what Puka did last year as a late round wide receiver. Not saying this guy's going to get a ton of snaps at wide receiver right away, but he could definitely earn it now. I think with Tutu Atwell on the last year of his contract, Demarcus Robinson on the last year here, his Whittington really has a chance here to show what he's capable of. So I'm excited about him of all the picks to see what he can do.
Definitely. And thanks, Grandizer, for that question. 2 minutes till official release. Again, we've seen the leaked schedule release, but we were waiting for the official NFL release here. But Edwin, shout out Edwin, love the support you give to so many Rams content creators. How many sacks does Jared get versus Jared on our first Sunday Night Football game? I like that. You know what? Let's open the floor up to that because this pass rush gonna look very different without Aaron Donald. Any thoughts on what this D line looks like week 1 versus Detroit?
Jared prime. I think he gets one. I think team wise, I think they could put together 3 or 4 sacks that they're firing in all cylinders. I can see him notching a sack, putting a lot of pressure, but maybe only getting 1.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I was thinking along the same lines, maybe 1 to 2. But the Lions also have a good offensive line and good run game to get the ball out quickly most of the time. So I think it's kind of one of those scenarios that even if you had an elite pass rush, they're pretty good at trying to slow you down a little bit. So I could see 1 to 2, but he'll definitely make an impact for sure.
Yeah, definitely. We got lots of awesome people coming in here. 1 minute away, and Ramsaholic, maybe if you could give your thoughts, and then we'll talk, and then I'll bring up the official release.
Yeah, so I'll say yeah. I think he'll get the sack. Why not, right? That would be dope to see him get a sack. But as Rams House mentioned, Detroit probably has one of the best offensive lines. They're going to get the ball out quick. They're going to run the ball, so we'll see. But overall, I think our defensive line will show out on Sunday night. So it'll be cool for everyone to see these young guys.
Definitely. Man, the more we talk about that, the Rams, Lions, Sunday night, and again, it's 8 p.m. Eastern here, 5 p.m. Pacific. So I'm going to find it here. But while I'm doing that, Big Tuna, where can everyone find you? And what kind of content do you have on your channel? And then Rams House and Rams Holic, if you guys could share while I'm looking for that schedule.
Yeah, I know you linked everything below. I think honestly the easiest one, if you just go to my site, tunapod.wordpress.com. It's got all the links right there at the top. Plus I get to show off my writing on there. Type of content, I mean, obviously I'm biased for Rams, but I do cover some other teams. I do the Raiders, Niners, and Chargers. Just a little bit, just because that's what most of my friends and family are fans of. I'm like the one Rams fan. So I wanted to kind of cater, make some content that they enjoy as well. Keep me a little well-rounded. It's try to keep it. I try to keep it accessible for the noobs too, because we're all nerds. Like not everybody is as high-level thought as most of us nerds do, but all the Swifties out there, I cater to them as well.
Rams House?
Yeah, you can find me at Rams House on YouTube. That's mainly where the content is. Don't do too much with other social medias, but yeah, just Rams House on YouTube. Not to get confused with Rams House TV because they're another great Rams YouTuber channel. But yeah, Rams House is where you can find me.
Awesome. And Ramsaholic.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Ramsaholic, and then on X at Shay tweeted that. I think if you type in Ramsaholic, I should pop up.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's all I have for social media. I don't even mess with TikTok no more like that. Wasn't my thing. I
love
tried
your
it.
Twitter handle, by the way.
What is it?
I love your Twitter handle, by the way. She tweeted that. Like, just
Oh,
put
yeah.
a stamp on it. Like, yeah, I did.
Yep.
Okay, folks. Here it is, the official schedule here. And again, we've been working with the league schedule. Appreciate everyone tuning on in here. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring this up. So, preseason, just to talk about it. Cowboys, Chargers, Texans. Oh, no Broncos this year. Okay, cool.
Dang.
But okay, so preseason, if you care, that's that. Week 1, this is where we get. So it is in Detroit at the Lions. So leaks so far so true. Then we're at the Cardinals.
Nice.
And then the first home game, the home opener at SoFi, the 49ers at the Chicago Bears on week 4. That's exciting. I'm glad we get to play Caleb early. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Week 5, Green Bay. Ooh, we're playing. That'll be a 4:00 game. Eastern time, 1:25 East Coast time. What do you guys think? Green Bay week 5. Are we happy with that?
Yeah, definitely.
I forget that you guys got to watch games so late in the day on the East Coast.
Yeah, it sucks, man. You're lucky. 10 a.m. to watch football.
For me, those games are 2:30 in Colorado.
You're in Colorado. Okay.
Yeah, you're like me. You wake up in the morning, be done by like 8 o'clock, get to bed.
Exactly. I like it.
Then week 6 bye. Okay, I know I saw some Ram fans complaining about this.
Yeah.
Week 6.
It's way too early. It's way too early in the season.
See, I agree. The advantage of the early bye is if your season starts flat, opportunity for correction, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think in general would like to see that a little bit later in the year. You rather have either like middle of the road bye or late, but we'll take it, I guess.
Yeah, we have no choice now.
Yeah. Coming off the bye, playing the Raiders in SoFi. Thoughts on that?
It's great. Come off fresh and whoop their ass.
Yeah,
exactly. Probably one of our easier games besides Arizona.
I think I'll appreciate because the week leading up to that game, I'm just gonna watch Baker Mayfield highlights when we play the Raiders on Thursday Night Football. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. Here we go. So then we got a short week here playing the Vikings. Ooh. What do you guys think of the Vikings on a short week? Will JJ McCarthy be starting at that point? Thoughts?
The Homestead. So back-to-back weeks at home. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Don't have to travel on a short week.
Yeah. I do think JJ will be starting by then. I think Sam Darnold's the starter.
Right.
Week 1, but it's Sam Darnold. So if JJ McCarthy is any good, at least by week 5, he should be the starter. And he has great weapons. So I'm not worried about this game personally. I think this should be another easy one. So we get our bye week and then we face 2 of the easier teams.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm excited to see that. I mean, imagine if this is the thing, like somehow Darnold starts all the other weeks until it comes to our game, then he's going to put McCarthy in. That would be kind of funny. But I am excited for it. My prediction was definitely wrong. I predicted that we were going to play the Vikings week 1 a couple days ago. Completely wrong on that, but excited for the Thursday night game, see how we can do. Usually we're pretty good on those, so I think it's a cool spot for it to land.
Well, and anytime you get to play against one of McVay's disciples, that's always exciting. You know, seeing him and KOC coaching up a storm. That'll be cool. Then we got our trip to Seattle, week 9. Rams have had some success in Seattle as of late. Seattle, new coaching staff, new regime. Thoughts? It is interesting. I feel like normally we play Seattle a little bit earlier than this, but this year we're not playing them till week 9. Thoughts?
Mm-hmm. I think it's go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think it's I agree. I mean, we're playing them late. Typically, we see them first few games. In Seattle, they have one of the better home field advantages, but Geno Smith's still the quarterback. Who knows if Sam Howell will be the quarterback at that point? I think Seattle's just a team that we own for the most part. So I think that continues.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, how Seattle's season goes. I feel like there's a lot of question marks on their team. And so, especially I'm kind of glad that we get to play them a little bit later in the year. See what their identity is if they have one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. Because, we definitely did kind of own the Pete Carroll Seahawks, but we don't know really at all what the new head coach and kind of the leadership will be like there. And it'll be interesting because it won't be like we're kind of feeling it out like week 2 or week 3. We still don't really know how they play, so that would put us at a disadvantage. It's nice how it's kind of halfway through the season we get to see him for the first time.
Yeah. And Darwin's, our resident Ravens fan, does point out that this will be the first time Sean McVay coaches against a head coach that is younger than him.
So weird.
Congrats, Mike McDonald, for that.
Isn't it? Oh, wait. Yeah, I didn't remember if the Ravens had the youngest head coach or if the Patriots did now with Mayo. Is it the Ravens now? Or the Seahawks? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Seahawks, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but he's going to coach against another one who's younger later, which is going to be weird.
Yeah, he coached 2 teams. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Big Tuna, any thoughts on week 9 at Seattle?
Ramsaholic said it best. That was my first thought is this, depending on how well they're doing, is there going to be a quarterback controversy between Geno Smith and Sam Howell? Before I was able to put out my predictions on where Sam Howell was going to go, he ended up going to Seattle. I was hoping he'd be a backup in LA, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really wanted him here.
Yeah. Well, apparently Rams were trying to trade for him. Yeah, that's definitely. Mm-hmm. But I'm okay. I've warmed up to Jimmy G being our backup, though. We won't get into it. I know that's a divisive topic. We're talking the schedule here, but
hey, it's the handsomest quarterback room in the NFL.
Yeah,
100%. Guapo over here.
We talked a little bit about this earlier about Rams. So maybe start with you on this. It's official now. Week 10, Miami Dolphins. Monday Night Football. Do you think could this be a high-scoring affair like Rams Chiefs in 2018? Do you think?
I see it more so along the lines of first half really high scoring, second half the defense is kind of locking because like both sides, like both the Rams and the Dolphins have good defensive pieces on it. We obviously don't really know much about like what Chris Shula is going to be doing as our defensive coordinator, but I think we're going to start out like going crazy first half with points, and then it kind of like we get adjusted. Maybe there's a couple scores second half.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Big Tuna.
I hope that Tyreek Hill's got a stomach bug that week.
Yeah.
Can't find a babysitter, so he's got to sit it out for a little bit. I'm never gonna wish injury on somebody, but I just hope he's got to meet with his tax person. You got to file some taxes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rams just that Miami offense is fast, right? They are a fast team, so definitely Chris Shula and company gotta be watching the game film on slow motion a little bit probably that week. But Ramsaholic, thoughts on Rams Dolphins Monday Night Football?
Yeah, so like I talked about earlier, the speed of Miami is going to be an issue. When I do my prediction video, like game by game, this might be one of our losses, to be honest. Mm-hmm. We are going to lose some games, and this definitely could be one of them. Soon had mentioned, hopefully Hill is out. He does have 10 kids, so he might need a babysitter.
Wait, does he? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, dude has a bunch of kids, bunch of baby mamas.
Philip Rivers style, or
yeah, and they're a great coach team. Obviously, come playoff time, Miami just falls apart, but this isn't the playoffs. This is week 10. They're typically a team that's maybe one loss at this point. Tua he reminds me of Purdy in a way, a system quarterback, but in that system, he definitely thrives. So this is going to be one of the tougher games just because of the speed. And then, Tuna mentioned OBJ. I completely forgot that they have him now as well. That's a wide receiver 3, but he scored a touchdown versus last year. He loves to show out in LA, so it's going to be a tough one for us. Okay,
yeah. We'll kind of speed through here. I did see the Rams schedule release video did get released, so I thought it'd be fun if we'll play it, and then Rams, are you cool if we watch and react to it, and just because I know you're streaming to your channel too. Normally, for stuff that's released to YouTube, copyright, as long as we're providing commentary to it, we won't get hit with any kind of strike or anything. So just giving you a heads up with that. But so we'll come back to this. We're at week 11, but we'll come back and talk about the rest of the schedule after we're gonna watch and react to this. So let me just bring this up here, make sure we're looking all good. All right, here. Let's go to a different view. Yeah, okay. You guys see? Oh, you know what? Can you guys see this? Okay. Yeah.
That's dope, dude.
Full screen. There we go. Okay, I'm hoping the sound quality is good for you guys. Okay, here we go. This is all of our first time seeing this. They're titled "Race to New Orleans." Rams 2024 schedule release video. Here we go. All right. Woo.
Nice car.
Mm-hmm.
That's a try.
That picture.
This is epic.
Oh my. The Eminem call reference.
That's awesome.
Is that the Breaking Bad trailer?
I think so.
That's dope.
And there we go. This is Nipsey, right?
Yeah.
That's Chicago. Okay.
Ooh, cool effect.
That's awesome. Woo.
Videography.
Let's go.
Shout out. Wow.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Donald Field.
Oh, Field in Pittsburgh? No.
Stupid.
Wow. Oh man. New York. Oh man. Well, Super Cup is hanging out at the side of the car.
Yeah.
I'm glad they made sure it's a that
Oh, and
Ooh.
yes,
I want that car.
Wow.
yeah, no kidding. New York. Wow.
Just dope.
This is excellent. Go back to the car. Whoa. Okay.
That was
Good
dope.
job. Wow.
Okay. Rams social media team. Well
somebody
done.
somebody got a raise or is asking for a raise. My God,
Yeah,
Right?
seriously.
that was great.
Whoa.
I love all the
that
little like Easter eggs and references in there too. I'm gonna have to like definitely go back and check that out.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna rewatch. I love so Stafford and Cup go on a road trip in this digital world, and yeah, that was amazing. Yeah. Grade I just said grade the vid A+.
Yeah,
Do
that's the only grade I feel.
Well, because what did they do? I don't even remember what they did last year for it.
I don't remember
I'm-
either.
I will say
I only remember
the since last year I noticed a stark difference from prior years. Like I don't know if they hired new people or just put more money into this department.
Yeah,
But they've been doing a much better job of just social media in general.
absolutely. Yeah, no, the Rams social media team the past I'd say year and a half have really upped their game. Absolutely. That's man, I always like seeing the other teams and stuff, but like the Rams, that was a sick edit, sick animation, like lots of great Easter eggs and references in there for sure. That was awesome. Yeah, it kind of looked like Grand Theft Auto LA.
Yeah.
It's dope.
I don't even remember what they did last year. I don't even remember.
I thought it was I thought it was kind of like a TikTok style thing. Like it kind of looked cheap to me. Like I thought it was Ricky Hollywood like taking through it each week or something.
right.
It was something where I was like, I thought we would do a little better than this, but this is definitely so much better.
Yeah, no, that was epic. And you know, if the YouTube algorithm hits me with a copyright claim, it was worth trying. And
Yeah.
let's get back to reacting to the rest of the schedule here. Again, the official schedule. Appreciate we got like almost 200 people in here. Feel free to like and subscribe to all these great Rams content creators. Links in the description below. So we left off. We were talking about the Dolphins Monday Night Football. So then on the short week, we travel East Coast to a game that hopefully myself and Ramsaholic can maybe even go to at New England. And Ram fans, I know we have no love for the Patriots. I am someone that I'm happy to say I'm okay if the Patriots lose every game of the rest of their existence. And okay. But I would love to go in and just destroy the Patriots. Thoughts? To me, this is a game the Rams should win. If they were to lose, that would be extreme disappointment. Ramsaholic, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is an easy win. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is a young team. They're in a complete rebuild. Yeah, go easy on the Patriots. Not happening. I like what they did in the draft. I give them that. But they drafted probably starters for them on offense. Drake May, Javon Baker, Jalen Polk, like all these guys are going to be starting for them, but they're rookies. So I expect them to be a 3-4 win team. Maybe May's not even starting. Maybe Brissett starts this year. He's only 21. So I'm happy it's in November. If it was a late December game, cold, snow, just like against the Giants last year, maybe the weather plays a factor, but I think the Rams win by 2-3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Big Tuna.
Yeah, I think similar with Seattle. I'm curious who starting quarterback's going to be. If Brissett can – I like Brissett. I've always liked Brissett. I can see him doing very manageable with that team the entire season. New head coach. I mean, new era since what, like 4 decades under Belichick.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I mean, they could be scrappy. They could be annoying, like on defense, and just run the ball a bunch. I hate saying easy games. Those end up being trap games where you should win.
You're right. Yeah. Ramsos, thoughts on this game?
Yeah, so I think this will actually be one of those games where like it's tighter in the first half, and we're like, oh, like these guys are actually playing us pretty good, and like kind of a wake up call into the second half. But I think we end up winning by 7 to 10 points in the end. I just think it's going to be a little bit tighter than we think for a while, and then we'll pull away at the end.
Well, and anytime you're doing a cross the country game, there's always if you can win by a field goal, you don't want to complain about it, right? But
yeah,
I want to crush the Patriots. Then we're headed back home here. We got the Eagles coming to town. Sunday Night Football. I'm excited for this game. I'm still disappointed in the Rams' performance against the Eagles last year. A couple plays go differently. The Rams win that game. But, we'll maybe start Ramses with you on this one. Eagles, you like this game?
Yeah, I do. It'll be interesting to see how the Eagles rebound from last year. Like, they kind of fell apart last year. And from, like, week 1, it kind of felt like they were a completely different team to me where they're definitely beatable. So last year it was kind of frustrating to lose in the way that we did because it felt like we had so many opportunities to pull it out. So I'm excited for it. It's nice how it'll be in prime time. And this one's at home, right? You said it was at home?
Yeah.
Which that's huge because the Philadelphia crowd is kind of rough sometimes. So I'm glad that it's going to be at home, prime time. And I think we should be able to get a win over them. But who knows? They added Saquon Barkley, obviously. That's going to add another element to their offense, but it'll be a good test for our defense.
Yeah, well, and they got new coaching staff like on the coordinator positions too, so you never know. I'm glad we're playing them a little later in the year for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Big Tuna, thoughts on Eagles Rams?
It's just prime time. I'm kind of different towards Philly. Like I know a lot of people hate them in their fan base, but I think the enemy of my enemy is my friend because they beef with San Francisco so much. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Santa Clara. That I got no quarrel with them. Obviously, prime time. It's nice to see Stafford get his roses on prime time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Ramsaholic.
Yeah, it's a tough game. Rams House said it. They got Saquon now. They addressed the secondary in the draft. They got some good edge rushers. It'll be a tough game. I think a nail biter. So I'm excited for that one for sure.
Yeah. And then, and this next game here, and I feel like some Ram fans forget that there is a rivalry between the Rams and the Saints. Like they were in the same division for a long time. And even like going back to some people think it wasn't pass interference. No one on this panel would say that, but the NFC Championship game. But fans have no love for the Rams, and the Rams, I would say we have a lot of love for the Saints either. We'll start. Big Tuna, thoughts on this Week 13 matchup going to New Orleans, taking on the Saints?
This is actually one of my hot takes. I'll say it. It was pass interference. It's not our fault the refs suck. They had the ball in overtime. Like they had a chance.
We tell like okay, that's fair. That's fair.
As long as Derek Carr's starting, like I got love for him just because he's Central Valley guy. But as long as Derek Carr's playing, I usually feel like easy win for the Rams. Honestly, he's good, not great by any means from what we've seen the last few years. And I know they're going to be there's a chance that where they're playing at a high level just because the Super Bowl is in New Orleans. I mean, at least the fans are going to hope so. So it could be an interesting game. I mean, I know they're like the little brother in the rivalry where they're mad at us for something 5 years ago, but yeah, could be a fun game.
Yeah, definitely. And again, Ramsaholic, your thoughts on this? And Dennis Allen, definitely a coach on the hot seat as well. He might be fired if their season gets off to a slow start, right? But your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, this game, it's a tough place to play. These fans love this team. They're passionate fans. They obviously haven't had a good product on the field in a while, and I don't think that changes next year. With Carr at quarterback, they have Spencer Rattler now. I think he's the future. That was a team that got into cap hell, and it doesn't really have anything to show for it. They have an aging Kamara. Obviously at week 13, injuries play a factor. Anything can happen. But as of right now, I think this is a win for the Rams.
Definitely. Absolutely. Moving on here to week 14, a game that I think a lot of Ram fans are excited about. I mean, last time the Rams played the Bills did win. Actually, last two times the Rams have played the Bills, the Bills come out on top. But we'll maybe start Ramsaholic with you on this one. Any chance you're going to this game? I know you're in kind of that area, and then thoughts on the game.
Yeah, maybe I'll go. I like to go to at least one game, so it's definitely the Patriots. But the Bills. Well, this is in LA though, right? Yeah, this is in. LA.
You're right. Yeah, it is. You're right.
So, which is better. I mean, it would be pretty cold in December there, but they got Josh Allen, Keon Coleman. This is obviously a good team, and no matter who they have out there, Josh Allen's probably the second best quarterback in football. You have to watch him on the running the ball, throwing. He has one of the best arms. Diggs isn't there no more, but he was kind of a cancer to that team. So I don't think him leaving is a big loss. But we did lose the last two to him. Not the most recent one. The one before, we had a great comeback. During the COVID year, and then we got robbed on a bullshit call.
Right.
That game was crazy. No fans in the crowd, but I'm really looking forward to this one. I know a lot of Bills fans, so I know there's going to be some chirping going on that week.
Yeah, Big Tuna, thoughts on playing Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills coming to LA?
Man, we got a tough stretch coming up here. Yeah, playing the Bills where they're going to be they're probably battling with Miami for their division. Sorry. Just that. I mean, I don't want to go further than Josh Allen. Yeah, Josh Allen, he's a nightmare to try to contain on defense. He's a walking highlight reel. And then the fact where it's later in the season, they will be battling for position with the Dolphins at that point. And we'll have played them both. So, we're pretty critical in their seeding for the AFC East as well. So, yeah, they're going to come out swinging.
Definitely. And Rams House, anything to add?
Yeah, I'm excited to play him again. I think the thing I'm most looking forward to, and I've talked about this a lot though, is just seeing the trench battle, especially for our offensive line versus their defensive line. Because if you guys remember in that right after the Super Bowl week 1 when we got demolished, one of the big reasons was because we were getting sacked so much and there's so much pressure, specifically from Von Miller on Joe Noteboom. And so I'm going to be interested to see if we can kind of push him around a little bit. And I think if we do that, we're going to win the game because It's going to be about who scores more points at the end of the day. And if you can protect Stafford long enough and be able to run the ball, I think you got a good shot at winning.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, we're coming to this tough stretch here. So we play the Bills, and then short week, primetime Thursday night football, we go to San Francisco to play the 49ers. Big Tuna, how do you like that?
That's gonna be a critical game. I think no matter how many wins each team has,
Yeah,
you're probably fighting for the West at that point. Best case scenario for us and them. So, and going to them, I wish this one was a home game. I'm not gonna lie. I really wish this one was a home game. I will be at this game.
I think we lost. Oh, he's back.
There we go.
We're back.
He's back in the building.
Not sure where it cut off, but I will be at this game. I take my mom every year. She's a Niners fan, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A house divided. Oh. Okay, fair enough. Ramsaholic, I know no love for the 49ers, but Niners on Niners on the road, short week. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I hate the team, but when it comes down to a prediction, obviously, I think we split with them this year.
Yeah.
That's going to probably be what I predict. I'm hoping, we beat them at the beginning of the season, but then again, I want to beat them at the end. I want to beat them every time. But San Fran is just a team that gives us fits. But their offensive line is weak. They really didn't address it too well in the draft. They went with a lot of skill positions. So I think that could be an advantage for us, and I think we could really run the ball on them. We've seen a lot of teams that beat them last year in the playoffs, ran the ball on them. And then to see Leonard Floyd out there, I think Leonard Floyd's very good. He's older, but he's a dog. I think he's better than Chase Young for sure. So they upgraded on the edge there.
Yeah. And Rams house, I know you love when the Rams play the Niners.
Oh yeah, if we win, I love it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I think this would be really fun to come on a short week and be able to play the 49ers in front of their home crowd and take the win from them. Obviously, it could go the other way, but I'm excited to see what ends up happening. Hopefully both teams are healthy at this point in the year because it's usually a pretty physical game, but very excited. Hopefully we get the win.
Definitely. And a reminder to every Rams fan watching that the streak was broken. The regular season streak was broken. It counts. I don't care if it was Sam Darnold and Carson Wentz battling it out. Carson Wentz put the team on his back in that fourth quarter and broke the streak. We can no longer have that, there's so many regular season No. The streak is broken, and hopefully the Rams can beat them for the rest of history.
Yeah,
That's
hope.
The hope.
Yep.
Week 16. I'm going to start off here again. I'm a salty Rams fan. I have no love. I have nothing against the Jets or their fans. I felt horrible for Jets fans last year when Rodgers went down so fast, and in general, it's a fandom that suffered. However, just the first video I ever did for my channel that was Rams content was my reaction to the Jets loss when the Rams lost in 2020 to the Adam Gase and Sam Darnold led New York Jets, who were winless at the time. And just McVay coached a bad game. Goff played one of his worst games ever as a Ram. And it was just a bad taste in my mouth. And so I am hoping that the Rams will go into New York, and we talked about that field earlier that we don't like, but I'm hoping everyone's safe, and I would love it if they just put 40 points on them in the first half, and then can just bench starters and just coast to a big win. Maybe the Jets get a field goal, but I would like the Rams to annihilate the Jets, just out of my own saltiness here, but. Ramsaholic, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, the AFC East this year has 3 very good teams. So, I would have rather played the AFC West this year, but hey, can't change it. So, The Jets, Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
really, really good defense, led by
Yeah.
Sauce Gardner. This is gonna be tough at New York. We played in MetLife last year, barely beat a injury-filled Giants team. So it's gonna be cold. It's gonna be a tough game. Like the Jets might be playing for the AFC East at that point. I mean, it's gonna be a three-headed race over there. So this is another one that's tough. This is why I really would have loved a bye week around like week 11 or 12, but just to prepare for these teams.
Definitely.
But hey, let's go with the flow and we'll see.
Yeah. And Big Tuna, you any thoughts? And again, we're going to assume the Jets have Rodgers and are healthy at this point in the year. We don't know, but any reservations about this big road game late in the year?
Another one I wish was a home game. Just a turf monster over at MetLife.
Yeah,
I just like it. I totally forgot. I made that comment earlier about the Bills and Dolphins fighting for the East. I totally forgot about the Jets for some reason. I think just historically in my mind, I always just forget the Jets exist. But Aaron Rodgers, they're going to be fighting for playoff. At that point, this is the point of the season where we kind of hope we've done enough damage where they're sitting at like 10-3 to where they're locked for the playoffs, to where losing to one of these really good teams isn't, devastating. So that's a tough stretch here. Damn.
definitely.
It is.
And Rams house?
Yeah, I think that Grandizer has a great idea about just playing our practice squad this week so that nobody gets hurt. Yeah, I'm excited for this. I actually do think this could be one of the games that we lose if Aaron Rodgers and the Jets offense is as good as we think it's going to be. Because if the offense is good and that Jets defense is as good as we've seen it over the last few years, that could be really tough. So let's play the practice squad, like Grandizer said.
Definitely. And guys, I always want to check in and respect everyone's. Are you guys good to keep going till the end of the schedule? I know we said an hour originally. You guys are all good?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Celtics might be at halftime, so I got plenty of time.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, they're up 11, Tuna.
Are they? Good.
Yeah. No Mitchell. They should easily win this one.
We'll see.
Well, speaking of games that teams should win, we're week 17 playing the Cardinals. This is in SoFi, so second time playing the Cardinals this year. Again, we kind of said a lot about the Cardinals in the first game. Kyler Murray, assuming he's healthy, look like they've improved. It looks like they had a good draft on paper. But, Big Tuna, any thoughts on the Cardinals specifically?
Yeah, anytime division game, a lot of familiarity. I don't bank on easy wins against the division rivals, no matter how bad they are, just because the hatred's there. Yeah. Kyler Murray's dynamic, and then Marvin Harrison Jr. went to the one team I was hoping he didn't go to. I don't want somebody that dynamic in the division. I was hoping he'd just go to LA, the Chargers. So, you got to be cautious of that. Like, if they're firing on offense, I think Gannon's going to drop some good stuff for them. So, should be a fun game. High scoring, potentially.
Definitely. Rams house?
Yeah, I think this could actually be an underrated tough game. I think that Gannon has the Cardinals playing really good even last year. They were playing really well against teams that were some of the top teams in the NFL. And I think it'll be interesting to see, like, if they stay healthy and they still have like a small chance of making the playoffs, they need to win out. This could be a game where they're playing extra hard and see what ends up happening. But, I'm excited to see what the Cardinals are like this year. I think it's going to be a little bit more competitive than we knew with the Cliff Kingsbury Cardinals, because they played us tough last year. Then we were able to pull away near the end, but I think the roster did get better. So we'll see.
Ramsaholic.
Yeah, so this is at SoFi. I mean, I have no hate towards the Cardinals, probably the one team in the division. There's really nothing to hate. Marvin Harrison, though, he is going to be a problem. I agree. I was praying that they traded back because, he's just a freak athlete. He's tall. His father was a Hall of Famer, so he has it in his genes. Then they got the rookie Benson out of Florida State. So I know that'll be cool for Verse and Fisk and him to, talk before the game and all that good stuff. But I mean, we should beat the Cardinals. We typically sweep them. I know last year, one game they gave us it was a close game in the first half with Joshua Dobbs, and then we pulled away. I mean, we typically do good versus the Cardinals, but they are an improved team. But this is definitely one of the games where, if you want to win the division, we're going to have to win because we have a lot of tough teams, and this is obviously one of the easier ones.
Yeah, and I'll be curious. Last year, Kyren Williams had a lot of success against the Cardinals. Really, curious if he can continue that and just continue that label of a certified Cardinal killer, right? So we'll see. I do love here that we are finishing the season on a 2-game homestead, especially with 2 division games. If the division is still in play, whether we need these 2 games to win it. Interesting having them at the end of the year, but they're both at home, which I like that. So we finish off the year, week 18 in Seattle. We don't know if this game is going to have the rust versus rest debate going for it, but let's assume the Rams need this to win the division or get a higher seed in the playoffs. Ramsaholic, thoughts on closing the season at home versus the Seahawks?
Yeah, the NFL, maybe they feel that this game will be for a wild card berth. Maybe they think San Fran's going to win the West, and that this is going to be like a playoff type game. I don't feel that way. I think we are going to win the West, but the fact that they're giving them the last week, it'll be exciting. I do like playing Seattle. I don't get nervous at all versus them, but yeah, I'm excited for that game. And like you said, at least we're ending the season at SoFi.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Definitely. Big Tuna, thoughts on this final game of the year?
I think we're a double-digit win team at the very least, like at worst 10, 11 wins. I like having the opportunity of back-to-back division rivals at home, like Ramsaholic said, to control your own destiny. Like, say you're desperate, you need another win or 2 wins to secure a wild card spot or maybe even win the West. It's more in the Rams' control now to control their own destiny. Go beat your last 2 division rivals, lock up that spot. You don't have to worry about, like last year, it was like, oh, if we win and if this team doesn't, then you're playing all that playoff math manipulation. This way it's just on us, which is pretty cool. So I like it. Yeah. And then I think Arizona ends up being better than Seattle this year. That's just my hot take.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
I dig it.
And Rams House, shout out Johnny Ripple, seeing he Rams House calling him out for not putting the video up for yeah. Call him out, Johnny. Keep him accountable.
Yeah, keep me accountable, right? Yeah.
Your thoughts on this game?
Not too much to add to what you guys said. I think you guys made pretty good points about it. I do like how, again, we're ending with a divisional opponent. Would have been nice to see San Fran again last week of the season, I think. Keep the tradition going, but also, I think they're going to be pretty close in the division, and it could end up coming down to the last week or so. But being that it's still divisional, being that, we don't really know what the Seahawks are going to look like this year, it's going to be interesting as the season goes along to see how much this last week is going to change based on how much it's going to mean and all that. But I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and I'll just add, I'm kind of excited to take a break from having the Niners as Week 18. Yeah, not that I mind it. It's provided some entertaining games, but I think the NFL was actually really disappointed last year that we did have Carson Wentz versus Sam Darnold, because that did take away from the Rams-Niners drama, and that might have been one of the reasons they made that game a little bit earlier this year. So, well, guys, that we have made it through the end. That's the schedule. Really excited for it. We are gonna kind of close up shop here a little bit, but thanks to everyone for tuning on in. But let's do it one last time here. Ramsaholic, please tell people where to find you, and then what stuff do you got coming out on your channel?
Yeah, so you can find me Ramsaholic on YouTube, and then I'm on X at Shay Tweeted At. That's it for social medias. I'm doing a little series right now where I look at every position group, discuss them. So far I've done quarterback, wide receiver. Next I'll do running back, and then I'm going to do my prediction video. Maybe early June, I'll break down each game. Last year when I did it, I did the whole division, 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals, and I actually got everyone's record right. I think Cardinals, I was just off the game. I said 4-3,
really?
and they went
That's awesome.
Yeah, I said 12-5, 10-7, 9-8. People are like, they're not winning 10 games. I was like, we'll see. People slept on us last year, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know yet. I'm in the 12-win range, but I got to look into the schedule in depth, though.
Yeah, no, I didn't think we were going to do a prediction on this stream just because you want to do some deep dive and really reflect on it and not have recency bias. Big Tuna, what do you got coming up? I know you had an interview with one of the Rams photographers that was really interesting. That's how I found your channel. But you have some other interviews coming up on your channel?
Yeah, if you have not checked that one out, it's on my YouTube page. Bryce is a great human. I have another great human coming on next week, Rashida S. Liberty of the Lady Lib Sports Entertainment. So an NFL agent is going to come on. She's actually the agent for Xavier Smith. So,
okay.
Yeah. So by way of meeting him at training camp and then just talking to them on Instagram, they were nice enough just to grace me with their presence and come on next week. So that'll air next week. But then I'll actually be at Ramfest this weekend. That's on the 18th. So I'm going to be down there, hopefully meet some other folks that are, in the Twitter space, the Ram space. Maybe Rampage will show up and, answer our DMs. So
cool. That's sweet. Yeah. And Rams House, any chance you got a Rams video coming out in the next little bit?
Yes.
Yeah, if it is, it's going to be about the schedule and predicting after getting a deeper dive into, where the games obviously have fallen and all the bye weeks and all that. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But obviously you can find me at Rams House on YouTube. That's where the content is. A little dusty, the content it is, but we'll see if we can get back to it. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, guys, this has been a lot of fun. Stick around. We'll just chat a little bit afterwards. And all of you watching, thank you so much for tuning into this watch party. You guys are awesome. Feel free to, make sure to subscribe to all this. Rams content creators. We're growing. The Ramley's growing. We're growing.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see you in the next video on all of our respective channels. Have a great night, everyone. Happy schedule release. Oh, and of course, as always, go Rams, horns up, and peace out. Let's go Rams.